Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, who's going to win the NFL MVP of the 24 season? Right? Is it going to be Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, or Jared Goff? Does it really matter? I don't know if it really I don't know if this really matters in the whole grand scheme of things. And we'll talk about that. It matters to them. I mean, this is part of history, but this is one of these seasons that's really going to define the history of the NFL. It really is. Um, it just won't be no more excuses. This is, I tell you guys, this is make or break to me people's careers as far as these guys that we're talking about now. To me, why I say it really don't matter is because when we look at guys like Lamar Jackson, somewhat Jared Goff, but definitely Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. If these guys don't make it to the Super Bowl, every year we say the same thing. We say, oh man, we done with these guys, man, we done. You know, like Dak. The guy faked an injury, supposedly, so he don't have to take accountability for losing in the playoffs again. So he don't be on the trading block, so they don't question his money. Guys up in the booth every game since he got hurt, and they're talking about, oh yeah, Dak is up there calling plays. We don't need Dak up in the damn booth calling plays as the highest paid quarterback. We need you on the damn field. What are they talking about? This is starting to get bad as an NBA. But I would say, with these events about to happen in the NFL, and you know this playoff picture that we're going to talk about, people might need to switch more talking about the NFL than the NBA. The NBA is cooked. NBA is cooked. There's really nothing to talk about. It's really the same, you know, boring things about LeBron James. Say if you make a video about, I don't know, Joel Embiid or Tatum or Jaylen Brown or, you know, Joker, most of your players in the NBA, you will not even get any views. But if you make a video about LeBron James, that's going to get you a lot of views. And that's the sad part is because this guy is a career loser with very little skills. When we now go back and look at it, we did many videos on this, but I'm just saying, I think the future talk will be about the NFL and not the NBA as far as making content, because, you know, because of what Mahomes might be able to do in a GOAT debate, might be able to start, and we'll talk about that. But you can't even talk about Joker. Joker might win 4 MVPs in what was it, like 6 years or something like that? 5? Maybe, I think 5 years, right? 5 or 6. And they don't even give the man credit. You don't even talk about the man. It's the saddest thing you ever. They won't even get no man. Don't even get a man no help. But we can talk about that in another video. I did see Scat's video, and I'm gonna say this one more time. I don't care if SGA gets the #1 seed and he wins that conference by 5 to 10 games. He's MVP because he doesn't have no All-Star teammate, no Hall of Fame teammate. So I don't care the numbers that he's putting up. If that's the case, Michael Jordan should have won an MVP in 1989 for putting up 38, 8, and 8. Well, yeah, 32, 8. No, 32, 8, 8, and what was it? 0.8 blocks and almost 3 steals or something like that. It was crazy. While shooting over 50% plus from the field. So let's get back into the NFL. Look. This is what I'm trying to say. I don't care who wins this MVP. To me, this is like one of these a meaningless year for the MVP. You know, I think you got Mahomes. Let me see what he is. You have Kansas City, who is 15-1. Baltimore 11-5. Buffalo 12-3. And of course, you had the Lions. They just lost. They just lost. They got ran off the field yesterday by a team with nothing to play for. That's just crazy. The Niners have such a bad season over their running back being gone. I mean, okay, I can see that, but you don't even make the playoffs? Come on. It just shows how bad your quarterback really is. He's not that good. I don't care about that game he had last night. It's meaningless. Look at this. They only won 6 games on the season, and before that, before yesterday, Monday Night Football, they only won 1 game. What is that? That's unexcusable. That's what they say. If you lose the Super Bowl, you usually don't go back the next season. It usually don't happen. Now, for Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, we say the same thing every single year. What do we say? We say, we're done with them. We're done with them. They need to be traded. They're never going to take a team to the Super Bowl. We say this every single year. And I'm trying to tell you, folks, if Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, which is crazy because they both can't make the damn Super Bowl. It's impossible. So this is going to apply to one of them regardless. Whichever one don't make the Super Bowl, we're done with them. We cannot talk about these guys as anything else than chokers. We would say this about Peyton Manning, him never making the Super Bowl. And then he finally makes it. He wins. But some of those wins weren't too beautiful. But at least he made it and he won. When we talk about Peyton Manning's Super Bowl wins, they're not all-time historic. He has playoff games, regular season games that's all-time historic, but his Super Bowl wins aren't all-time historic. Actually, him losing in these Super Bowl games were all-time historic as far as the way he lost, the way his team lost. But at least he got those Super Bowl rings under his belt. This can't happen, folks. It just can't happen. We can't. No. If Mahomes wins another Super Bowl and these guys don't make it, I don't know what else to say for these guys. And look, Macaulay Culkin with the Bengals, he still ain't even out of the playoffs yet. And he's a threat all the time. So, do you think if Mahomes goes 16-1, where does that leave these guys? You don't think he should be getting the MVP? I would give Mahomes the MVP. Seriously. I mean, who's he got really? Kelsey? A lot of guys on this team have been banged up. So let's look at this. It's going to be a good playoffs. It's going to be really good. To me, these are the contenders to me. Buffalo, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, if they can get in, they're still on the fence. I think they still got one more game. Houston is a contender. Kansas City. We'll come back to that team. Philly, Washington, Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay. And that's basically it. The other guys are like pretenders to me. Where you have to see if. Oh, I thought they got in. So the Rams didn't clinch yet? Oh, I thought they clinched. So the Rams and the Seahawks are still fighting for that division. Oh, did Atlanta win yesterday? I thought they lost. Let me see. Falcons. I went too far. It's 12-8. 9. Oh, they lost. So how did they get on top of Tampa? I don't know who Tampa plays at the last game, but wow, Falcons might win that because they end up tied. I think the Falcons come out on top because the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken, they won both of those games against the Bucks. They got a pretty good team. So you got a lot of contenders. But, Lamar Jackson winning all these MVPs, what does this mean? What does this mean? It's going to look bad. It's going to look like, Peyton Manning winning all these MVPs, Tom Brady winning these championships. I mean, what does that mean? And Lamar Jackson ain't even on the level of Peyton Manning or Mahomes as far as a quarterback overall. Look, I saw they was talking about Mahomes broke some Michael Vick record for running and rushing and look, man, I don't care about that. Lamar Jackson, he's playing a soft, weak era, kind of like LeBron James, where you can't tackle nobody. He's getting extra 15, 20 yards every time he runs or whatever. let's just say he's getting extra yards. I wouldn't say that many yards. He's just getting extra yards, man. The defense ain't the same. You can't tackle nobody anymore. You can act like you're going out of bounds and get you a couple more yards, and it just ain't the defense that Michael Vick went against. I'm sorry, guys. It's not the same defense that Michael Vick went against. So I don't think he's better than Michael Vick as far as a runner. As far as anything. I just don't, man. I saw Michael Vick, and Michael Vick was just more electric because the defense that he had to face. Now, am I saying the defenders are better back then as far as, skills? Maybe not. But I'm just saying, these defenders can't use their skills. It's a difference. They can't use their skills. So, I don't. Look, this is how it works. In the playoffs, everything slows down. And you got good things and bad things that you do. So the good things that you do, they're going to shut that down. All that running all over the place ain't going to happen like that no more. Okay? And the bad things you do is being accurate, right? And what happens is when it slows down, the DBs and the safeties are going to hone in on you because you're not accurate on the run. You're not Mahomes. Mahomes is the most accurate throwing quarterback on the run. It's insane. Maybe Steve Young is up there. Maybe John Elway is up there. And stuff like that. And that's what I talked about before. We'll say that for later. But things are going to slow down for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Can you make those tight throws in the playoffs when everything slows down and everything just starts to cave in? The defense ain't going to have it. They know your weaknesses. They know your strengths, and they're going to shut those down. And we've seen that in the past. You can't do that to Mahomes. Mahomes is not a run-first quarterback. He runs when you least expect it. This guy can throw on the run, pinpoint accuracy. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen. I've never seen it. Like, I hate this guy. I hated this guy. Like, lose, get him, lose. It was almost like I wasn't a Tom Brady fan for a long time. I was a Colts Peyton Manning fan because I thought, that's who they promoted the most. And he was so great at throwing. Well, the same thing. When it came down to it, they shut him down. Those defenses. So we'll see what happens, man. To me, Lamar Jackson. Can you tell me what he did at Michael Vick? Michael Vick went into the Lambeau Field, and he won a playoff game in Lambeau Field, which no other quarterback had ever did. You guys remember that? That's just crazy to even think about. No team had ever won a playoff game in Lambeau Field, and Mike Vick came and did it. Remember that? What did Lamar Jackson do that was so great in the playoffs yet? Nothing. And the defenses were just better. When Michael Vick played, they could knock your head off. So it's shaping up to be a good playoffs. I read off the teams. You got these teams stacked up in the NFC, the Phillies, the Washingtons, the Detroits, the Minnesotas, the Green Bays, and Detroit just lost yesterday, so they could lose, winning the division. And let me see, Minnesota could win the division, and nobody in NFC yet has a first round bye. That's how tight it is. So this is a more competitive conference to me, and it should make for a good Super Bowl. Whoever comes out at NFC to play that AFC, but this ain't looking good for the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, just because they might have to go through. Well, they have to. I think this is for sure now. They have to go through Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl. And who thinks Kansas City is going to lose at home, folks? They don't even lose on the road. So, like I said, the whole MVP really don't mean nothing to me. Unless you can beat Mahomes, it means nothing. And Josh Allen can't afford to come in and stink it up again. Neither Lamar Jackson either. You gotta stop giving MVPs to people who are regular season players. I mean, they did that for Peyton Manning for a long time. And we really didn't see it because we don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. I mean, it's a regular season of war, but Like I said, none of this stuff even matters. But if Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen can't even make the Super Bowl, you ain't even got to win. But you got to at least make it. I mean, Lamar Jackson better hope that they give that MVP to Josh Allen, because if they give it to him and he loses, whew, you don't make it to the Super Bowl, it ain't gonna be looking good, man. It ain't gonna be looking good. So, you got the Cinderella story with Jared Goff. They lost yesterday to San Francisco. I've been trying to tell people, Jared Goff is Jared Goff until he can win a Super Bowl. He's been to a Super Bowl with the Rams. It was a low-scoring game. He couldn't put no points up on the board. And, I mean, it is what it is. But he's still Jared Goff. He's not better than Lamar Jackson. He's not better than Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts or a lot of these quarterbacks. He's still Jared Goff. And I ain't trying to say nothing bad about it, but I'm just saying he really has it. He needs to come through. For me, he would really need to win a Super Bowl this year or whatever to prove he's not just Jared Goff. He's a winner, and he can lead a team with talent. You know what I'm saying? He had a great team with talent with the Rams when he was there, and they didn't win the Super Bowl. I mean, I know that's Tom Brady, but this is what he really needs to do, because you don't know if this Cinderella season is going to come back around next year. Look at San Francisco. So that's another guy. If he don't make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to be questioning. Or if he don't win the Super Bowl, they're going to be questioning, is he just with another great team? And he's Jared Goff. That's it. That's what they're going to say. He's just with another great team, and it's Jared Goff. God knows if he don't make the Super Bowl. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's better storylines in the NFL than the NBA. And it could be better storylines in the NBA, but they're so dumb. They don't want to promote, their up-and-coming players. They don't want to make a storyline for them. It's easy to make a storyline for a lot of these teams. And you really need good analysts also in the NBA. But you don't even have that. You don't have good analysts or anything like that. All you have is a bunch of fools that sounded like a bunch of fools that work for ESPN and Fox. So they kind of, it's welfare analysts. We all know they got rid of all the good analysts, even though they were starting to lie a lot about the NBA. That's the sad part about it. They actually have to lie to sell the NBA. And people's like, what? So you're not telling the NBA based on truth. To sell it because it's so bad that it won't sell based on truth, right? So you got to sell it based on lies. So other platforms, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, will talk about the lies, will argue. These people will argue back and forth about what they think is the truth. And the people who uphold the lies are like, so ridiculous. There's actually people out there will uphold lies. And what they found out was, if I uphold the lies with the media, I win, right? Because because we got dumb people in this world that actually believe the lies. And if the media is telling the lies, people saying, well, that's the media, that's the people on TV. It's got to be the truth, because they don't know the truth, because they don't know the NBA. So the people who push the lies with the media, they kind of come out on top. You can look at some of their, their pages or channels or whatever like that. They've got 100,000, 200,000 people on their channel. Because people, we live in a world of lies. People like lies because the lie makes you feel good. Makes you feel great. Right? The truth is ugly. A lie is beautiful. The truth don't make you feel good. The truth is like, get away from me. I got to do something. A lie, you ain't got to do nothing. So, I think in the future it's going to be more better to talk about the NFL. And I can talk about the NFL. I grew up watching the NFL. Oof. I know about football. I know about baseball. I won't go there. You decide to kick all the Americans out. Let the foreign people who live in this country carry the game. I mean, you don't care about us? Why should we support it? And the NBA is getting that way too. So you're going to bring in all these foreign players. Well, let foreign people who you're letting in this country by the millions illegally, let them carry these leagues. And they're not. They didn't carry baseball, right? They didn't carry baseball. Americans always carry baseball, especially foundational Americans. So that's a whole different subject. So, you got Saquon Barkley. He could win it. He could win an MVP, but Jared Goff is basically out of it after he lost yesterday. let me say this about Mahomes. In the NFL, they want this GOAT debate thing to start. So Patrick Mahomes, he could win 3 in a row, and the whole GOAT debate could blow up. And it's justified. Why not? This is what I'm going to say. And this is real ish. For one, but in my eyes, they don't want to get into this. They don't want to get into this. Yes, they will start the lie because that's what the media does. But let's look at this. Let's look at this first. And this will just destroy the whole argument. From when Brady set foot on the field in the early 2000s, so let's say the 2000s to the 2010s, Tom Brady faced greater defenses in those decades than Mahomes has faced and will ever face in his career. Let's go back and look at some of these teams. And if you guys can remember, and some of you young people may not, and you might want to go back and look at them, we might have to do an entire video on these players that will blow your mind about the positional players that Tom Brady faced in the 2000s, the 2010s. When we go back and we look at those Jets defenses, right? We go back and look at those Baltimore defenses. And this is the 2000s to the 2010s. So we go back and look at the Baltimore defenses, the Pittsburgh defenses, the Colts had good defenses at that time. We'll have to look at that with Tennessee. I think that was after Brady. Chargers had pretty good defenses. Denver had good defenses. Philly had good defenses. Giants had good defenses. Chicago had good defenses. Let's see. New Orleans had good defenses. Seattle had good defenses. And I want to say the Rams, that's like late 2000s. I really won't hold that against Mahomes. Folks, there's no damn way that Mahomes will ever face those kind of defenses. I don't care what you guys say. From the defensive backs, the defensive line, the linebackers, and the safeties. And could you imagine Troy Polamalu launching himself in this era like a missile? In this era, you basically have to go up to the guy and tell him, are you going to be okay if I hit you? And give him a hug and then tackle him. Stop, guys. We really have to stop. Okay? It's just not the same. It ain't the same. Oh, did I say those Seattle defenses? It's not the same, folks. And what I will have to do just to prove it to you guys, especially Mahomes wins this one, we'll have to go all those seasons in the 2000s and 2010s and look at those players on defense. It's going to blow your mind because I went back and looked at it. I was like, whoa, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Not to mention the quarterback play was better to me. It was just better. Pure quarterback talent and guys back there could run. Right? We always had good running backs. Steve McNair, Donovan, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick. I'm just saying, overall, there's always been running quarterbacks. But they couldn't run like that, like they do today. You get your head knocked off. John Elway was a running quarterback. It was a lot of guys. You guys can name a lot of them. There's so many I forget. Warren Moon. What's his dude's name? Used to play for Carolina. He always wearing the weird hats. He ran. We had a lot of running quarterbacks, but these guys could throw too, man. And then when we had better running backs in the 2000s, 2010s, to better receivers, this is going to blow you guys away. When you guys I'm able to go back and we're able to look at these wide receivers, these running backs, these tight ends, just these guys at their position was just way better. It's going to blow your mind. So on top of that just blows the argument out of the water right there. When we can able to go back and look at it, right? And his competition in the 2002 210s. And then let's look at this. Tom Brady holds every quarterback record there is. Not only every quarterback record, but a lot of NFL records, period, as a player. Not only that, he beat Mahomes 2 times. what was he? Was he undefeated against Mahomes in the playoffs, the Super Bowl? And the Super Bowl really just it that's really going to hurt him forever. Not only being 0-2 against Brady, period, but the Super Bowl thing. I don't care how it happened. He didn't have offensive. It's just there, folks. You can't really come back from that. He's really going to have to do something miraculous. The three-peat will really help. But what the three-peat does, it shows the lack of competition in this era. So that might hurt. Might hurt more than it might help. I told you. We were just talking about the competition that Brady had to face. And, you guys really might not understand it, the young people. So we'll have to break down the names. Trust me, I was blown away, too, when I went back and looked at these positional players in the 2000s and the 2010s. And it was like, what was it, like a 10-year gap or something like that? Brady didn't win a Super Bowl or something, 8. I think he had been in Super Bowls, but he didn't win one for like 8 seasons. It was something like that. But if he wins 3 in a row, to me, it won't show how Mahomes will still be great. To me, he might be the greatest quarterback of all time. It'll be something like, okay, Will Chamberlain is the greatest basketball player of all time. But as far as career, everything together, let's not remember all the clutch games that Tom Brady had in the regular season, the playoffs, the Super Bowl, and these comebacks and stuff like that. These are all-time historic clutch comeback great games and stuff like that. But yeah, Will Chamberlain is probably the greatest basketball player of all time. But Michael Jordan has overall career is the best, and that's how Tom Brady is. Mahomes will be in many people's eyes the greatest quarterback of all time. But Tom Brady's career is better. Now, yes, Mahomes has time to, change a lot of that stuff, and he could prove me wrong. But to me, yeah, and he could have less losses in the Super Bowl than Tom Brady. But to me, that speaks to the level of competition, whether it's the offense and the defense that Tom Brady had to go against versus what Mahomes already has won against or will go against in the Super Bowl. So this is the thing about not being young. We remember these things. And we can also go back and look at these things. And we'll look at these things in the future. But look, guys, Mahomes has a lot of mountain climbing to do. And to me, he needs to get up to at least, if he could get up to 6-1, he'll definitely start to change my mind. As a quarterback, already he's better than Tom Brady, but that doesn't mean nothing. This isn't a one-on-one game. Never has. Michael Jordan was better than a lot of players in the 80s, but he won't be considered the greatest player of all time if he didn't start winning championships and doing all this stuff, because it's a team sport. In order for you to win championships, you have to be a team player. That's how that works. Something that LeBron James has never figured out, right? And that's why we keep having to talk about stats for him. Every other great player in every different sport, we talk about championships. Stats come along with championships. It just does. Look at every great winner. They have crazy stats. LeBron James has crazy stats, but is not a winner because he took stats over, skills. And have you thinking that he had these great skills, but when it came down to it, in the championship games, he really didn't. Skills is more than just putting up stats for yourself. It's being a leader and leading your team too. In these clutch times, something LeBron James never figured out. Because he never had a battle through adversity. They kept telling this guy he was a winner and all-time great as soon as he came out of high school or when he was in high school. So he never had to be a winner. The only so-called player amongst GOATs who never had to do this. I mean, look at Tom Brady's story. I mean, this was crazy. The guy came off the bench and picked in the draft like 6th round or something like this. We know about the Michael Jordan story. We know about this. Mahomes wasn't no starter or nothing like that. But, a lot of great all-time players have a great story to tell. Not for LeBron James. You have to fight through no adversity. They already put him at the top, and they was coming for his head because he was at the top. So that's a whole different story. So you guys tell me what you think. I think I missed a few things, but it's going to be a good playoffs. And to me, all these MVP winners, you see them for this year, it don't matter. It don't matter unless you're going to do something. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You got to make the Super Bowl. If you're Josh Allen, you're Lamar Jackson, you got to make the Super Bowl. This is going to be a big hit on their careers. Whoever don't make the Super Bowl. And for, Jared Goff, you got to win that Super Bowl, man. You can't just keep going back to Super Bowls. Somebody's got to stop Mahomes. Whoever stops Mahomes from going to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl, this is going to be big. It's going to be all-time great. If Mahomes makes the Super Bowl, especially if he wins, these guys are going to be irrelevant. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen will be irrelevant for all time to me. I don't have nothing else. You can talk about them if you want. There's nothing else to talk about, folks. They will never be any competition to me, to Mahomes. If Mahomes makes the Super Bowl and wins, it really don't matter. If these guys don't even make the Super Bowl, it really stains up their legacy. Because Mahomes is going to keep coming. Mahomes ain't even playing football this year. He's okay. I'm just pacing myself to get to the playoffs, to get to the Super Bowl. He's not even playing all-time great season this year because he doesn't have to. This is the skill level of this guy. This guy has the best record in football, and he's just chilling. He ain't even putting up big numbers. This is insane. It's insane, folks. He don't have an all-time great team, and they're still winning. Yes, we know they done got a lot of fluke calls and stuff like that. And this happens for every team, every quarterback. And some of these dummies are doing dumb stuff to get dumb penalties to help Mahomes out. It makes no sense at all to me. We'll see what happens because a lot of these other guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they're like playing full strength just to win. And Mahomes is like, okay, watch this. This guy is, yes, I can admit it. He's better than Tom Brady as a quarterback. Great, but in a way we can't really say that because he's not playing against the same level of competition that Tom Brady played against. So. But I do give him the nod a little bit. You do have to make the passes and all this stuff, and but we'll see what happens. Like I said, he's just gonna have to have a better career than Tom Brady, and I don't think he's there yet. He got 3 Super Bowl wins. Oh, God. I don't care about his losses in the Super Bowl unless they really start to stack up a lot more than what Tom Brady had. I'm talking about the championships period. He's gonna have to get to like 6. For us to start talking. Just how it is, because Tom Brady beat him in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady is undefeated against him in the playoffs. And Tom Brady holds all the quarterback records, regular season, playoffs, Super Bowl, whatever. And his competition was just better across the board. Positional players in the 2000s, 2010. So, I keep saying these things, but it's true, guys. They're going to be looking stupid when we go back and look at these positional players in the 2000s, in the 2010s that Tom Brady went against. So, tell me what you think.